What's up, Family Liberty? Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug here, and it seems that we failed to help our fellow MAGA Americans get squared away. And therefore, everybody's looking pretty shut the fuck out right about now. That means we're gonna have ourselves a party tonight, fam. Go ahead and get comfortable with the prolonged front lean and rest position. Front back goes 6 inches, 12 inches, the whole 9. Drink water. You see, somehow, when the horde of MAGA Americans that came into all of our comment sections with the empty rhetoric about how all the wars going on in the world were all Biden's fault and electing the orange orangutan would magically end them in 24 hours, somehow we didn't let them know that none of those wars were overtly started by the United States. But if the guy who openly hates all of our allies, threatens tariffs on our strongest trade partners, and dehumanizes the people who live in the country that directly borders ours, the next war will be our fault. Well, according to reporting, the amazing flatulent Florida Orange they voted for is now thinking about invading Mexico, a sovereign country, in order to stomp out their violent killer drug cartels. You know, the ones who get all their killer guns from us in the first place? Yeah. Recently, in her response to Trump's nonsensical announcement that his proposed 25% tariffs would cut the flow of drugs and migrants, Mexican President Sheinbaum pointed out that the drug cartels in Mexico are continuing to use guns from the United States. That's right. Guns from the United States are flowing into Mexico in a pipeline that gun control activists call the Iron River. 7 of the 10 most dangerous cities in the world, measured by homicide rates, are in Mexico. Mexico's strict gun control laws are being flouted by the not-so-strict, that is, non-fucking existent, gun control laws in states like Texas, allowing more than 10,000 firearms a year found in Mexico to be traced back to us. Yep. Drink water. Now, while you're sweating down there, allow me to remind you how many times we were warned that a situation like this war with Mexico talk was not only a possibility, but with the freak show cabinet that this SPF 3000 bronzer face looking motherfucker is putting in his place, a pretty damn high likelihood. On November 5th, for instance, 2019, The Independent reported, and I quote, Trump says he could send U.S. military into Mexico to wage war on drug cartels. End quote. 2019, people. He hadn't even started an insurrection by that time yet. Former Defense Secretary Mark Esper also told CBS in 2022 that Trump suggested the U.S. should shoot missiles into Mexico. Now, add that to all the other warnings we've received over the past 4 years from respected, high-ranking service members that President Bone Spurs sees everyone in the military as nothing more than consumable, disposable objects. Like in an interview with The Atlantic, when General Kelly detailed Trump's disdain for injured veterans. Or when General Milley told the Washington Post's Bob Woodward Trump is a fascist to the core. I mean, we got names like James Mattis, General Marine Corps, H.R. McMaster, Lieutenant General, Army, who? Stanley McChrystal, General, Army, who? James Stavridis, Admiral, Navy. All of them warned us. So, how is it possible that so many MAGA Americans who claim to be so disturbed by wars going on around the world miss the obvious warmonger in the room? I mean, this tangerine tornado had such a hard-on to start a war, he was begging his generals to nuke the fucking clouds and go to war with the sky itself. How is it possible? Well, it's because we failed to properly motivate our fellow MAGA numbnuts into making the right decision. Front lean and rest position. Move. Up, out, 1, up, out, 2, up, out. This position is designed for the blood to flow away from your ears so you can hear me properly. So hear this. On November 25th, the president of the Island for Misfit Toys had a phone call with the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum. He proceeded to post on his failing social media site that she promised to close the Mexican-American border magically and all by herself. This was a lie. President Sheinbaum responded immediately after that fever post, quote, "We reiterate that Mexico's position is not to close borders, but to build bridges between governments and between peoples," end quote. Next, on November 27th, the Rolling Stone reports, and I quote, "Trump, who has routinely and falsely promoted himself as the candidate who would stop endless wars, now wants to lead a new conflict just south of our nation's border." And if that's not clear enough for you, a senior Trump transition member says the question isn't whether we should invade Mexico or not. It's how much should we invade Mexico? That's the question, end quote. This lie on Truth Social about some promise a bordering country never made and could never deliver even if they did make it is a plan to build a consensus amongst just enough smooth-brained troglodytes to start a war with Mexico, period. This is straight out of the dictator's playbook, fam. Once you gain consensus to start a war through false pretense, the war itself becomes the very machine that pumps fear and patriotism into every citizen who, in turn, gives consensus to their own oppression. Check it out. We will not give consensus. Understood? We must expose the false pretense as it is being pushed on us with the truth. President Sheinbaum used the truth when she reminded our new disaster-in-chief that the flow of migrants has been cut 75% in the past year, and that it's not Mexico's fault that fentanyl is being smuggled in by American citizens. Oh, maybe you didn't know that. About 88% of the fentanyl coming into the country is by way of Americans crossing the border and bringing it in. Not Mexicans, not Canadians. But Super Karen Donnie Boy wouldn't let silly things like facts and accountability stop him from dehumanizing brown people and putting the responsibility of fixing the problem on anyone but himself. Let's talk about how to attack the real cause, which is the 99% of the consumers of fentanyl, Americans. How about tackling healthcare? A constitutional amendment curtailing lobby money and money in politics so we can finally address drug companies getting people addicted to OxyContin, which leads to fentanyl use. What about free rehab, paid for by taxes, put on the drug companies that have made billions of dollars off the backs of our dying citizenry? Go ahead and square away those MAGA idiots looking for public masturbation sessions in your comment sections now. Tell them that truth. Truth is a powerful weapon, especially when it's wielded with a nation behind you. Maybe that's why Vagina Voldemort has averted his gaze slightly from the badass woman running Mexico toward fantasies of annexing Canada instead. No, I'm not shitting you. Homeboy is actually fucking nuts. See for yourself. Yeah. So maybe I'll be seeing you again with more on that, because that's a whole nother goddamn video that I'm not ready to make right now. Drink water! Hurry up! 3, 2, 1, get ready! Fall in! That is 2 cans of spray tan Sam is gathering whatever consensus he can to distract this country for the next 4 years, while he presumes to pick its pockets and sell the broken husk of our nation in pieces to the highest bidder before he dies. I dissent. We will use every weapon at our disposal to destroy the illusion of consensus. social weapons like protest, disruption, making life uncomfortable wherever there is the illusion of comfort through consensus. Economic weapons like boycotting, donating to organizations and businesses that refuse consensus, denying your purse to those that give consensus. And since every one of us is broke, organize your efforts with others on a mass scale. How? I'm glad you asked. Weapons of mass information. For example, stay till the end for the throat punch and fucking go to every social media site that has the name Sons of Liberty on it with the logo you see here. Watch the shit, then share it. Make others watch it and learn something, and then share what you've learned. Join Discord. The next weapon, on the other hand, is the easiest for any individual to initiate, but the hardest to execute. Emotional weapons. Things like who you give your friendship to, and from whom you choose to withhold your friendship, setting boundaries on what is required of anyone who requires your emotional support. Shit ain't free. Anyone who needs you to be there for them, they better be squared away. And you can help them get there, but it's a damn requirement that they do. Because just like a bay party or a company party, the point of the party is to impart upon you the fact that everyone pays the price when any one of us is shot out. So it's your job not to let that happen. Period. Now, if you're one of the motivated few who made it to the end of this party without giving up, go ahead and write, "Drill Sergeant, I made it, Drill Sergeant," in the comment section. Oh yeah, and guess what time it is?
And now it's time for the throw punch!